Hi, welcome back to another video. This time I'm going to review and quickly evaluate something called LibreOffice. If you're looking for a replacement for Microsoft Office, then this is a free alternative to Microsoft Office. You can download LibreOffice from LibreOffice.org, and you go down to downloads. You've got downloads for Linux, Mac OS, and Windows as well. So once you downloaded it, it'll be slightly different procedure for installing it on there, but nothing too complicated. Right, once you open up Libre, so this is the main interface for Libre. And you've got down here, you've got 6 applications. You've got Writer, which is the equivalent of the direct equivalent of Word. You got Calc, which is the equivalent of Microsoft Excel. Impress, which is the equivalent of Microsoft PowerPoint. Draw, I guess, would be a replacement for something like Visio, perhaps. Math Formula, I'm not absolutely sure. If you know what the equivalent of the Microsoft Office equivalence is, then drop a comment below. And then Base is the replacement for Microsoft Access. So that's the main interface. So here you get a list of recently opened or recently created documents, and you get recent file locations, and you can filter the documents that appear here to just list the kinds of documents that you're interested in. So text documents, spreadsheets, blah blah blah. So that's the main interface. Suite I want to show you is Writer, which is a direct replacement for Microsoft Word. So clicking on write a document, by default gives you a blank document to start typing in, and it's a similar WYSIWYG kind of setup to what you might have in Word, where you can format the text, change fonts. So you can change fonts, change the font size, color, highlight, and things like the alignment. The layout is similar to what you have in Microsoft Office, whereby you got the tabs and then the ribbons for each of the tabs. So in Home, you have the most common kind of functions you might want to use. Insert has a different layout. If you're kind of trying to set the layout, and then all the other ones give you a different sets of options. Compared to Microsoft Office, I find this kind of layout a little bit busy. I think Microsoft Office is a little bit cleaner. However, you can edit these toolbars, so you can take out the bits that are not very common to you, that you rarely use, and maybe clean this up a little bit. LibreOffice supports something called, and by default tries to save it in open document format, which is an open standard. If you really need to save it as a Word compatible document, you can save it in the various formats. Save it as plain text, HTML, and so you got all of those readily available to you, and you can import accordingly. So that's the formats that Writer supports, and you've also got a few built-in templates if you're going to templates, and you've got a few kind of templates already there that I believe you can download other templates off the internet or off the LibreOffice site and drop those in there if you really have a need for them. I'll just select this one, which is a business letter, so it creates a template layout for well, in this case a business letter, so you're just going in and editing the bits that you need to with the kind of pre-formatting and layout that it's given you. So that's a brief overview of Writer. I'm not going to go too much into depth because this is just an overview, but if you need me to create a more in-depth review, then drop a comment below. The second application I'm going to show you is Calc, which is a direct replacement for Microsoft Excel, and I absolutely love Microsoft Excel. I think it's such a useful application. I use it for all kinds of things, from data manipulation, formatting, data dumping, all sorts of things. So I find it really, really useful, and just kind of number crunching. So clicking on new document, you get a familiar kind of layout to what Excel would be. So you got the cells of your main spreadsheet there. You got the tools at the top, which you got kind of uniform layout with Writer. So you got the tabs, and then you got the under Home, you got the common kind of tasks you'd need. As with any spreadsheet in Excel, so you got similar kind of setup. You type data into the cells. So you got columns and you got rows, and typing in data, and then you can do similar. You can do kind of formulate calculations. So if you wanted to add up these two columns and get a total for this this row, you type something like A1 plus B1, pressing enter. That should give you a sum there. And if you have a look in the formula bar, you can see the formula that's in play there. If you grab this little drag handle and drag that down, that should copy the formula down for that row, and it will even update the references. So we're adding these two rather than those two. So very, very useful. So you got all your standard kind of Excel functions there. So yeah, if you're familiar with Excel, within kind of I'd say 10-15 minutes you'll be using this quite happily. It's just a slight familiarization with the layout, the controls, and the icons there, but other than that, and LibreOffice, if you want to save or import or load up documents from Microsoft Office Suite, LibreOffice defaults to the ODF format, which is open document format. If you really need for compatibility, you really need to save them as previous Microsoft Office documents, and you can quite happily save them. So if you're using an old version of Excel, it's XLS, and then newer versions is XLSX. And likewise, you've got CSV, open document format, and you can save or export accordingly. So that's Calc in a nutshell. I'm not going to go too much into detail because this is not a review of in-depth review of Calc or how to use Calc. If you want a slightly more in-depth review, then drop me a comment, and I'll try and make a longer video. So the third application we have here is Impress, which is the equivalent of PowerPoint. So it starts with a set of templates. So you want to create a themed set of slide presentations. You can choose the built-in ones or start from scratch. So let's try that one. So pretty much like Excel, it will give you, depending on what template you use, it pretty much give you a set of sample slides which you can basically just click and just change the titles and change the layout and everything, and you got a quick and ready kind of slide presentation. Again, similar kind of layout. In fact, all of the applications in this share the common layout. Obviously, there's different icons for different applications, and again, it saves it in an Office document format, and this uses ODP. But if you're more used to using PPTX or PPT, PPTX. If that's the format that you're more used to using, then you can go ahead and use that. So with this, in a similar fashion to PowerPoint, you can just preview the slides, just to see, you got the timings and everything, and then so I've got two screens. You can't actually see my other screen, but the other screen has a kind of full view representation of this, and then you got the main controls there. So I'll exit out of that. So that's Impress in a nutshell. Now I'm going to demonstrate here is the Drawer application, which is the equivalent of something like Visio in Microsoft Office, and clicking on new document creates a blank canvas where you can create either a graphical design where you got kind of full layout and color control, and the ability to combine shapes, remove shapes, or you can simply create things like what I would probably most likely use it for is to create flowchart type layouts with kind of arrows. As soon as you click on the arrow, each of the shapes automatically show the anchors where you can connect the arrows. So this one I'm going to drag from here to here. So, and you can change the text on there, so that might be process 1. This might be decision. And once you've kind of locked in the arrows, you can move these accordingly, and the arrows will be correspondingly following. So that's quick. That's a quick demonstration of what you can do in this application. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up a template. Now, there's only one template for drawing, which is that one, which will show you the intricacy of what you can create. So you can create some quite detailed charts and flow charts, diagrams. That could be, for instance, a lookup table of some kind, where you got the graphical icons, you got the text, you got the kind of layout of the table and cells. That might be kind of glossary or something, or a reference page, and you can kind of move all the components around. So these are draggable text box. So that really shows the level of kind of detail, layout, control that you have, and the complexity. So that's the draw application in a quick nutshell. Finally, the last application I'm going to cover is Base, which is a replacement for Microsoft Access. Now, I've not used Microsoft Access for several years now, but anyway, Base should be a fairly similar setup. So as soon as you click on Base, you get this option. So you want to create a new database if you haven't already got a database set up to work with. So we're going to create a new database, and it's going to create an embedded database in that format. If you're not familiar with that particular format, you probably don't need to concern yourself too much. Just I don't think you've really got any other options. Or you can open up an existing database if you've got one, but seeing as we haven't, so click next and finish, and then it'll ask you to save the database somewhere. So click on save, and then you get the screen which allows you to create the various parts of the database. So you want to create a new table, because the database will have a number of different tables. So you either create the tables through a kind of wizard, or a table editor like this. So let's, for instance, create a customer data table. So first name, and it'd be varchar. Varchar is just basically text with variable field width. So depending on the width of the field, the storage requirements are such that it will automatically increase or reduce the amount of storage space. So basically the upshot is you get smaller database as a result. So might have surname, and if we save that, so call it, so first time you try and save it, it'll ask you for table name, so press OK. And if you haven't got primary key, if you're not sure what primary key is, just accept this. Every kind of table should ideally have what's called a primary key, meaning that it's got some kind of unique identifier which identifies each of the records in there, such as employee number, customer number, that type of. So yes, we're going to add an ID, and it's added an ID there. So if you close that, so you've got a list of tables down there, and you can run a set of queries as well. I'll show you that in a second. So first thing we want to do is create a record. So John Doe, and so that's given the first record an ID automatically 0. So this is automatically incrementing ID field, so you don't need to set that. And then Mary Contrary. Okay, so save that, and that should save the records. Close that, and if you go back in, those records should still be there, and you can delete or update or add new records as you wish. But anyway, that's enough data in there. Now the other kind of components you got is queries. Queries are basically allow you to sorry, that's not what I wanted. Create a query in SQL view. Now I'm very familiar with SQL. You may or may not be, but so I'm just going to quickly create a query which may or may not make very much sense to you. So you can query the data in the table by issuing commands. Sorry, select star from customers. If you save that, we'll just call it query 1. Okay, so query under tables we've got customer. Under queries we've now got this query 1. Right, what did we call the table here? Customer, sorry, my mistake. So edit, so there's a typo there, so save that, and you can actually run it directly from here. So run query and select star customer basically means select all records from customer, and you can actually put a condition, so you can conditionally return records according to whatever criteria you want to add. I'm not going to go into that because this is not a database tutorial. So that's a quick run through base, which is the which is the equivalent of having Microsoft Access on your machine. And so if you're interested in creating a small contained online database, like for instance your business, you can quite happily use Access and create forms and things like that for input. A very, very good way of learning databases with Access was they provided the now quite famous Northwind database application, where they created a mini application which was all form based, table based, and query based, and it was a quite a nice introduction to how you go about the various concepts. But anyway, you can probably download that somewhere and perhaps use that in base. But that's all I'm going to cover with this. So I'm going to close that, and you probably want to save that, and that's base kind of covered there. So that's LibreOffice in a nutshell. So I've gone through all the various applications that you get with the suite. They are quite comprehensive applications in their own right. I mainly use, I would say, Calc, which is the Excel equivalent, and Writer, which is the replacement for Word. And I've been using them now on and off probably 2 to 3 months consistently. Although I've been using them a lot longer, I've kind of been using LibreOffice ever since it was what originally was, I think, OpenOffice, and various incarnations along the way. So I'm quite a fan of it now. What's kind of prompting me to switch over full time is I don't really want to have a subscription to Microsoft Office, especially at the price that Microsoft insist on charging. So that's my kind of real reason for switching over to LibreOffice. So I hope you I hope you found this useful, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.